Today we're going to learn all about the quadrant and the x-axis and the y-axis, okay? This is The Fly on the Ceiling, which is a math myth by Dr. Julie Glass, and it was illustrated by Richard Walsh. This is the story of a guy who lived a long time ago. He lived in France. He was a French guy, so he had a French name. His name was René Descartes. This may sound like a funny name to you, but in France it is perfectly normal. René was a philosopher. A philosopher is someone who thinks about why things are the way they are. René was a great philosopher. Many of his ideas are still famous today. But even though René was a great philosopher, he did have one problem. He was messy. This problem started out small, but it got bigger and bigger. The painter helped René put his things in place on the grid. They found René's hat, his star book, his quill pens, his old boots, his journal from when he was 10, and many other things that René didn't even know were missing. On a chart, René carefully recorded where everything went. Voila! After that, René's home was never messy again. Well, hardly ever. René's system caught on around the world. It was named the Cartesian coordinate system. Cartesian comes from René's last name, Descartes. Today, people still use the Cartesian coordinate system in many different ways. Okay, so maybe René Descartes wasn't really messy. And maybe he didn't really fall into the cyan or draw lines on his ceiling. But even if nobody knows exactly how he did it, it is a fact that René Descartes made the Cartesian coordinate system very popular. And he was a darn good philosopher too. We said that we've seen it before earlier in the year, but we only touched on it, correct? So today we're going to learn everything about the coordinate system. Okay, read along to yourself while I read aloud. It says the x-axis and the y-axis meet at a point called the origin at 0, 0 on a coordinate plane. The location of a point on a coordinate plane is represented by an ordered pair of numbers. The first number is the x-coordinate, which tells what number on the x-axis lines up with the point. The second number is the y-coordinate, which tells what number on the y-axis lines up with the point. On the coordinate plane shown here, point A has an x-coordinate of 2. Put your finger on the x-coordinate of 2. Everybody's with me? Yes? Good. Then it asks, what is its y-coordinate? We're going to go up to A, go over, and the y-coordinate is what? 5. Good. Then it says, place your finger on point A on the coordinate plane. You know that the x-coordinate is 2. Notice that the number directly below point A on the x-axis is 2. And it says, find the number to the left of point A on the y-axis. 5 is directly to the left of point A on the y-axis. The y-coordinate of point A is 5. Can anybody tell me what the word quadrant means? Madison? What makes you say 4? Quad is a prefix for the number 4. 4 sides. Quadrilateral means what? A figure that has 4 equal sides. Good. So go ahead and label first quadrant. How many of you know what counterclockwise means? Bryce? The other way, or what would be a better word? The opposite way of what? How the movement go clockwise, you go counterclockwise. So, since that is said, what is this quadrant going to be? Second quadrant. Good. And just draw the first quadrant. Anybody know what the coordinates or the ordered pair for this corner is? 0, 0. Remember, an ordered pair is how many? 2. A pair of socks, a pair of shoes, a pair of earrings, of mittens. A pair is always 2. Good. So the coordinate for that corner, the ordered pair is 0. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, then up, then up, then up, then up. Now flat, 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 flat. Good. Okay, everybody understand that? All we're worried about in the 5th grade is what? The first quadrant. Then it gets into negative numbers, and you'll learn that later on. Ordered pair is how many? 2. And first you have to go to the right. The first number tells you how many places to go to the right. The second number tells you how many places to go up. Good. Contestant on plot the point. Plot our point at 5, 7. Plot the point at 5, 7. Okay, tell me back what we just learned. The first number tells you how many times to move to the right. Pick up your point. And the second number tells you what? How many up? Everybody agree with where he plotted his point? Yes, ma'am. Good. Nick, come on down. Next contestant on. Tell me the ordered pair. 6 and 10. Good. Okay, we're going to take it a step further. This time, whoever's lucky is going to plot the point. Then when we have our points plotted, I'm going to tell you what's next. Got it? See who's lucky this morning. Lanaya, come on down. You're the next contestant on. Plot the point. Go ahead and plot the point at 3, 3. She correct? Yes. Yes. Good. Good job. Haley, you're the next contestant on plot the point. Plot the next point at 3, 6. Agree? Good. See the lucky person. Jenna, come on down. You're the next contestant on. Oh, come on, Jenna. You're the next contestant on. Plot the point at 5, 3. Agree. Yes. Yes? Yes. So you're going to work with your shoulder partner. And I'm going to do the first one for you so you know what to do. And row 8, it says start at 1, 7. I'm going to go to my grid. How many times to my right? To my right. 1. I'm going to go 1 over. How many times? Up. 7. And I'm going to plot my point. Okay, so let's review what we learned today. What did we learn about today? A point. We're plotting a point. What else did we learn today? All about quadrants. What about in the 5th grade? We're only worried about the first quadrant. What else? Landon? You have to speak loud. The y-axis and the x-axis. What is the ordered pair where the y-axis and the x-axis meet? There. What is that? At 0, 0. Always? Yes. Good. What else, Nick?
That quadrants go counterclockwise.
That when you're looking at quadrants, you go counterclockwise, which is opposite of clockwise. Anything else? When we did our higher level and we took it to the next step. Madison? My question was, okay, we plotted points, we know how to plot, we know the quadrants, we took it to a higher level. What did we do? We plotted points on the grid, and we only thought about pictures. We did a whole activity on the grid on the floor. Okay.
When we pointed circles on the grid, we saw what shape they were.
We put points on the grid and we visually saw in our head what shapes we could create when we connected those points, correct? And we did a triangle, then we took it up to a next level, and we said, well, we can name that triangle. We had a right triangle and we had a scalene, which means
3 sides have different lengths.
all sides on that triangle have different lengths. We said, what did we say about the right triangle? How did we know it was a right triangle? I need Alexa. How do you know? We didn't measure it. How do you know it was a 90-degree angle? In the shape of an L, you learned last year that a right angle, measures 90 degrees and it's in the shape of an L. Okay, on your index card, you're going to write 2 things that you learned today with our lesson we did.